with David Meltzer. I'm your host, Sean Walchef. I met David back in 2019, and we have been building in public. I've been sharing my coaching calls across the digital hospitality feed. We have a community of leaders in the hospitality space, storytelling space, marketing and sales space. And our job is to share the secrets and the wisdom of my mentor, David Meltzer. Today, we're going to be talking about social selling in 2025. So we want to talk about the intersection of technology and sales. I've been attending Dave's Friday trainings, and some of my favorite trainings is where he dives deep into sales. I'm going to share a quick story. One of my friends here, we sent Cali Barbecue, our restaurant. We sponsored the San Diego Gulls, which is an AHL, American Hockey League team that came to San Diego. We started selling barbecue in the arena, and through that relationship, I met the president of Fox 5. He is named as Scott Keith. Scott Heath is now the president of Fox 5 and KUSI, which are two local news stations in San Diego. But for me, it was really cool to have someone in his position to start to ask him questions. And one of the things he told me was, Sean, we are less of a news organization than we are a sales and marketing organization. And that was something that has always stuck with me, because when you think of media, I don't think of sales and I don't think of marketing until I started building with David, and David started teaching me the things that he has been teaching me. So let's start with sales from a media perspective. What has David Meltzer learned, and what is your advice for 2025?
Look, there's number one, two things that you have to understand. And it's the two things you have to understand to be a good mentor and a good teacher and a good parent. In order to utilize media in a sales capacity, you need to be annoying. And a lot of people are afraid to be annoying. And to be a good teacher, mentor, coach, parent, you need to be annoying. What do I mean by that? One, you need to be truthful to yourself. You need to be who you are, your essence. You need to be honest. And you have to go through everything with a fine tooth comb of credibility. I bring up an interesting statistic, even though I don't like statistics. In fact, the only statistic I really like is 99% of all statistics are made up. That's my favorite one. My least
I haven't
favorite one
heard
by
yours. I haven't heard
the
this
least favorite
statistic.
one.
This is great.
It's true though. And then the other statistic I don't like, but it's absolutely true, is 100% of all putts that are short do not go in. And I don't like that one either. Although 100% of the things you do now get done, I do like that one as well. Anyway, you got to be annoying and you got to be honest. You got to go through everything with a fine tooth comb, because the closer you get to credibility, if you're 100% credible, Sean, you could come in this podcast and tell everyone, please wire me $1 million Monday morning. I will wire you back $2 million on Friday by 5 p.m. And almost everyone would find the $1 million if and only if you are 100% credible. So, the number one thing we need to do in order to utilize media and sales is make sure we go through our content that we've utilized in the Shakespeare's stage theory by capturing, modifying, amplifying, and perpetuating it in the truth, in your essence. The second thing that's most annoying to be a teacher, coach, mentor, or a parent, or a sales media person is to be repetitive. You see, you can't expect media to work unless you're consistent and persistent in that truth, in that credibility. And too many people don't see the value, and too many people cannot articulate the quantitative value to exceed what you're asking for, a critical component of all sales. Because one, they're not honest, they oversell, back end sell, lie, manipulate, cheat, steal. And two, they're not repetitive. They think that they just go ahead and post one little toast ad on the hospitality network, the Cali Barbecue Media Network, and that everyone's going to know, number one, who it is, and
Yes.
two, see the value in it. Because remember, there's two objectives in sales: be aware of it
Yep.
and then know the value of it. Knowing that value can only be derived by giving people more of what they like and taking away what they don't like. So there has to be that conversation as well in order to articulate a quantitative value.
So I know you're an investor in a company that does social selling. Can you share a little bit about why you invested in that company? And then let's talk more about what you think is going to happen in 2025 with the big tech companies and integrating commerce into content.
Well, the reason I invested in that company is because everybody needs it. And the social siloing that's taking place is going to continue, and that people are once again going to be siloed to their community. And there'll be very few that will be able to pierce the social silos, meaning that there'll be very few brands, very few people, very few ideas that will be ubiquitous.
Yeah.
And it will take a tremendous amount of time to either continue the ubiquity that exists with bigger brands, Coca-Cola and McDonald's, uh, or it will take a lot of money in order to do that, because it's becoming more difficult and more expensive. So I invested in it because there's going to be big social silos, because there are social silos that exist. I pinch myself in the morning to think how big my community is. And I know my community will only grow. It will become more difficult and more expensive for it to grow, but it will only grow. But I built a big enough community that my great, 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 great grandchildren should never starve, because if they utilize the social silo, the community of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other, that buy from each other and sell for each other, and I empower them in order to do so, not only will they make a lot of money, they'll help a lot of people and have a lot of fun, regardless of the external circumstances that exist that we can't control.
When you get hired to work with small companies doing significant revenue, what do you see as their number one problem that they have in their sales process?
People. So they don't take enough time to empower their people. The people, they built a scalable model, but the people can't articulate the quantitative value, and they're not engaged enough to touch enough people in order to facilitate acceleration in that scaling and the compounding outcomes that occur from a group, a collective consciousness of salespeople that are actually effectuating that value across the board and amplifying it correctly. So it's absolutely only one problem: people.
And when you talk about people, are you the best salesman in the Meltzer organization?
I hope not. I don't want to be.
This is honest time with David Meltzer.
Yeah, no, I hope not. But look, it'd be very difficult for the oldest salesperson that I have in my organization is 35 years old. I've been selling professionally for 35 years.
Yeah.
So unlike golf or baseball, where years don't matter, situational knowledge, experience, knowledge, that knowledge really matters. So I think there's better salespeople for the amount of experience that they had comparatively to when I had it. And I know that to be true across the board. Almost every salesperson I have is better than I was when I was 25 to 35 years old. But no, I am absolutely the best salesperson in the Dave Meltzer organization.
How do you, from a sales perspective in the Dave Meltzer organization, are you adding new products or are you focusing in for 2025?
So not changing the buckets, but adding more products to the bucket.
Okay.
So the buckets I have are free,
Yep.
and that's where I spend the majority of my time selling value for no money. Then there's all types of groups, activities, all types of those, and those are growing immensely. VIP dinners, masterminds, meetups, holding courts. I have a private networking group with one-on-one access to me that's growing by the thousands.
Wow.
And anybody that would like we're just finishing up. I'll hold it for your guests. 397 for the year, 100% guaranteed to be a profit center. What does
Amazing.
that mean? You give me 397 bucks, join our private networking group, get one-on-one access to me on Mondays, and I will make you more than $397. It's going to be 497 for the rest of the year,
For sure.
but that is a group. Then I have one-on-one, which is one-on-one coaching, business advisory, and business consulting and investing.
The what is the what are you most excited for in 2025?
That's easy. I am the chairman of the Napoleon Hill Institute. It's one of the biggest brands in entrepreneurship ever created by Napoleon Hill. I own the rights to Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, How to Sell Through Life. I own uh, and will build institutes across the world, virtually and brick and mortar institutes. As chairman, we're going to be scaling, revitalizing, reinvigorating one of the greatest entrepreneur content ever created, over 500 million pieces of content sold
Wow.
since 1937. And so that was one of the strategies of building my social silo, is to be the chairman and own rights to that content in order to facilitate the elevation of people, to empower people to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. That combined with being the chief chancellor of Junior Achievement University, the chairman of Unstoppable Foundation, and the other things that I'm doing charitably are going to impact my legacy for my great, 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 great grandkids.
So in the essence of being annoying, let's talk about how the stage theory applies to what you've just shared. And let's start with
So,
what is the stage theory for those that don't know, that have seen this video for the first time, that are meeting Sean Walchef or David Meltzer for the first time. Welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. But the stage theory is the big thesis that Dave and I have been working on for together for the last
yeah,
5 years.
and you've helped me since 2019 to develop that, because you were an inspiration to me, because you were one of the first people that not only told me that you got it, but implemented it. And you took a small average business, and you built an empire, and it's going to continue, no pun intended, with the Empire State Building behind you. More importantly, um, so, and here's one thing too, Sean, right? You said, well, for those of you that haven't heard of the stage theory, let's talk
Yes.
about what it is. In the essence of being annoying, go ask your producers, go ask your biggest fans what the stage theory is. I
Yes.
promise you they won't be able to do it. We could bring your producer on right now, and I promise you he's had to edit this shit. He's heard the stage theory, but he doesn't know it at the level in order to implement it. That's why we have to be annoying. So, stage theory, it's the essence of the future. I am a content capture, not a content creator. My primary focus is to capture content, because Shakespeare said the whole world is my stage. If that is true, then everything I do is content. And so
Yes.
I want to capture a much of the content that represents my essence, which is my skills, my knowledge of who and what, and my desire. The bigger the stages I can capture, the bigger the people that are around me that I can capture in that content, the greater the access I have to the whole world. And that be true today. It actually wasn't true when Shakespeare wrote all of his great content, but it became true for him because he understood the stage theory. So today, if you say Hamlet, everyone around the world would say Shakespeare. If you say Othello, everyone around the world would say Shakespeare. And so you know that he understood not linear time, but infinite time of capturing content. Two, modify it. That wasn't quite as important when Shakespeare wrote any of his content, but it's sure true today, so that Shakespeare can be known throughout the world. He's on stages and movies and books and podcasts. He's everywhere. He's modified everywhere. Then amplified. Once again, distribute it through other people. So there's teachers, there's courses, there's TV networks, there's all types of different people amplifying, elevating the awareness and the consistency of Shakespeare. And then finally, the one that Shakespeare got, that I got early on, that most people didn't get, and you really get, which is perpetuate your content, create your social silo, create a rabbit hole. Understand that somebody now that gets the awareness to David Meltzer or Sean Walchef, they can go down a David Meltzer or Sean Walchef rabbit hole, because we perpetuated our content. We built a essence in a silo so that people can decide, I hate this mofo, I love this mofo, or I really don't know the mofo, I'd like to know more about the mofo. And so if you take the mofo attitude of perpetual content, you'll find that mofos will love you.
So before we wrap up the call, one of the things I love so much about Dave is his knowledge of the sports world. give me some 2025 NFL predictions. And
Yeah, well, I'm gonna give you a prediction I gave at the beginning of the season, and it's that even a blind squirrel can find an acorn, because I've come in last in almost every single fantasy. Almost every single fan. Warren Moon and I have come in last place in almost every fantasy league we've ever participated in. And the only year that I went in first place, I got beat in the championship. Never won a fantasy championship. Here's the greatest thing: I don't know shit about basketball. I've won so many brackets. I'm probably over six figures
come
I've won
on,
money wise. And I don't
really?
know shit about yeah, I don't know shit about
What are you
basketball.
just picking logos? You're picking mascots?
Exactly. I I don't have a clue
Come
what I'm doing.
on.
Anyway, beginning of the season, I picked the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl, and I'm holding
Okay.
to that one prediction. Next prediction, that the Los Angeles Chargers will lose to the Baltimore Ravens
Yes.
in the AFC Championship game
Oh, wow. That's a bold.
with little talent.
I love it. Very little talent.
Yeah,
Very little
great
talent.
quarterback. Great comparatively, they got talent, but comparatively to where they've been in the
Comparatively
past
correct.
and the other teams that they're going to beat, uh, they're going to beat Houston, they're going to beat the Chiefs, and they're going to lose to the Ravens.
Well, if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm weirdly available at Sean P. Welchef. David Meltzer is weirdly available. You can find him on all his social channels. You can email him. You can get a book. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got to say this on January 11th. I want to
Yes,
invite everyone, and if you could amplify this for
I
me
will.
everywhere, I'll send you a
Rising
link.
Tide community. We
I'm doing
will. We will amplify.
I'm
That's what we do
Please,
best.
I'm doing a birthday
Yes,
bash, the launch of Napoleon Hill Institute 2.0. Why it's a birthday bash? It's January 11th. Here, talk about the universe and coincidences. On January 11th, 1958, Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone launched the Napoleon Hill Institute on January 11th,
wow.
1958.
Your
On
birthday.
January 11th, yeah, on January 11th, 1968, I was born. And now on January 11th, 2025, we're going to launch the Napoleon Hill Institute 2.0. Chairman David Meltzer is going to lead the way to revitalize one of the most impactful content houses that has ever been created. Almost as pertinent as Shakespeare is to
Oh,
entrepreneurship,
for sure.
is Napoleon Hill.
That is amazing. There's David Meltzer, David at dmeltzer.com. David, I appreciate you. All of our coaching calls are available on our YouTube channel, Cali BBQ Media. Check it out. As always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, brother.
Boom. That's it.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Have a happy
Happy New Year.
I'll see you soon.
You
Thank you,
got it.
brother. Take care.
Thank